So let's move on to actually crafting your messages. Step one is what you want. What are the most important things that the public needs to know about the crisis in question? Begin by writing down some ideas. Don't be too self-critical, just brainstorm and write down anything that pops into your head. Take the best 3 ideas that represent what you want the public to know most about the issue. Write them out in sentence form as 3 separate messages. This is a starting point, not perfection yet. Step 2, what they need. Put your messages aside for a while and repeat this brainstorming technique with sound bites. So how can you make your message memorable aside from announcing that you want your life back? The soundbite is the answer. So what is a soundbite? This is the part of the message that you remember. Here are some classic examples. Sheryl Sandberg, CEO of Facebook, famously had this to say when promoting her book, Lean In, about women in the workplace. So who's this? And who's this? So here's a little exercise. Match the quote to the source. You've got 3 minutes. And here are the answers. Now, I'm guessing you probably got most, if not all of those right. And if you didn't know a couple, you managed to work them out by a process of elimination. The point is that most of these are sound bites that have engraved themselves in our consciousness. So, how can we recreate these ourselves? Now, as unlikely as it might seem, there are several techniques to do so. However, this will require a certain amount of creativity. But don't worry too much about that right now. This is just a starting point. But first of all, sound bites should all follow these 4 rules. 1, clear and concise. 2, use vivid dynamic language. 3, easy to repeat. And 4, memorable. So here are a bunch of examples which illustrate the various styles of sound bites which will help you construct your own. And the first of these is the rule of 3. Have a look at this. So this is Barack Obama from his inaugural speech. And it's a common technique that if you've more than likely seen on many occasions, such as Julius Caesar, Winston Churchill, Obama again, and Abraham Lincoln from Gettysburg. So why does this work? Well, narrative triads, as they're known, have been used for centuries in literature. The 3 Musketeers, or the 3 Ghosts in The Christmas Carol, or the 3 Witches in Shakespeare's Macbeth, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. You get the idea. There's a lot of research that shows that people will remember things if you organize them in 3s. So triads really work when you're trying to be quotable or when you want to give a memorable soundbite in a media interview. There's something satisfying and final about them. Here's another technique. This is repeating words at the beginning of a series. Have a look at this. And that's from Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Or we have contrasts, conflicts, or paradoxes. John Irving on the Academy Awards. Here are some other ones. Or this extremely cynical example. Or my particular favorite from the endless supply of former baseball star Yogi Berra. Let's move on to similes, analogies, and metaphors. That one's from Gloria Steinem. Another trick for making your soundbites memorable is the use of these techniques. If you paint a picture of what you're trying to say, the message has far more chance of catching the listener's or reader's attention. Consider this. Now that's adequate as a soundbite. However, it's quite difficult to imagine 7 million people, except that it's a lot. So to make it even more memorable, you could add a famous simile that's been used for years is to compare something with the Titanic disaster. This is usually done to express a futile action such as Let's have a look at rhetorical questions. Tweaked cliches are another source of effective soundbites. Then we've got unexpected twists. Or here's one from former US President Ronald Reagan, when his election opponent focused on his age. Beautiful, funny too, and that always helps. Definitiveness or power is another version. This was a technique commonly used by Winston Churchill, and it resonates like this. Moving on to brevity. Again, brevity. Heartfelt emotions can be expressed at the appropriate time as well. We've all heard this kind of thing. Now, to be fair, this particular example has been trotted out so often that it seems to have become perfunctory. So much so that it has almost lost its meaning, especially if uttered by dubious politicians who one suspects don't really care at all. But how about this one? So essentially, you can use any one of these techniques. Just select the one that seems the most appropriate, or brainstorm. There is clearly a creative side to this, and the best way to go about this is, as I said, just let your brain go and write down whatever pops out, no matter how stupid sounding and ridiculous. And this actually works, so why does it work? That is a difficult question. Perhaps it's because the pressure is off and we can relax, be silly, and let whatever comes out come out without fear of ridicule or rejection. Songwriters, in fact, use a similar exercise when they can't think of an appropriate melody. It's called writing for the dustbin. So setting some time aside, they will write down or record the most mundane, simple, or annoying sounding melody, whatever pops into their head, one by one. And usually what happens if they persist with this is that eventually a good melody will emerge. So here's an exercise. Here's a typical crisis scenario. Your company's IT security system has been hacked. The personal details of some 100,000 clients, including those details of their credit cards, have been stolen. Around 100 clients have already lost money as a result. Your CEO is fortunately media friendly and has realized the importance of responding quickly. So, construct a short, punchy statement for him or her, outlining what happened and what you know so far, a believable apology, and what is being done to address the problem. Each of these three elements must be memorable, using the methods outlined previously. And the best way to start, since you're by yourself, is yes, to brainstorm and write down whatever pops into your head, even if it's complete gibberish. Then take the best of these and imply them using the instructions. Remember, don't make each bit longer than a sentence. And you have 15 minutes to complete the task.